that. Hi, everybody. All worked out. I have no idea why it wasn't working. I'm going to have to contact the software people because all I've done now is I've called in from my phone. So the good news is you can hear me. The bad news is you've been waiting for 9 minutes, so I do apologize. And let's get started. So we may go a few minutes over. Just hang on one sec here. We may go a few minutes over, but not to worry, I'll still make sure that I have time to answer your questions. So you missed what I was saying in the beginning earlier when I was talking to myself. I was saying, happy Saturday. So happy Saturday. So today's webinar is all about staying nourished and energized through the winter. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you some really great tips to feel your best, to have great energy, to be in a good mood, and then as well, if you have any questions, you can type them in on the left, as we've already been chatting, but you can type them in on the left chat window. And you may have noticed already that you can select to send your question to everyone or just send it privately to me and I will answer it. I'll probably answer most of the questions at the very end though, just so I can make sure that I can get through all of the information today. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joy McCarthy and I'm a holistic nutritionist, founder of joyshealth.com. And I have been a nutritionist, I guess, how many years now? I just actually had dinner with a bunch of my nutritionist friends and we're like, oh my gosh, we're getting old. We've been doing this for so long. But I went to IHN in 2006. So I have had my blog probably since about then. And I've always been super passionate about nutrition and wellness just from healing from my own personal health issues. And then meeting literally thousands of people over the years and helping them transform and have incredible health. So I love to connect and share recipes and articles and healthy, older and wiser, yes, healthy lifestyle information. So you may know this already, but you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram where I share lots of recipes and healthy living tips. And also on YouTube, I have a channel on YouTube where I do videos, try to do them every week. It's a little bit harder now that we have a little one because we have to make sure she's as quiet as possible. When you're almost 5 months old, you don't always want to be quiet, so that's okay. So we try and do videos once a week. And as well, just before I get started, I want to tell you about a quick program that I have. It's called Eat Well with Joy's Health. I'm doing the first online version of my Eat Well, Feel Well program that I've been teaching for 7 years in Toronto. So it's now online, and the next class starts in May. And there's a coupon code for $50 off Eat Well 50. So you can learn more about that if you go to joyshealth.com. It's a 6-week course on Wednesday night. And it's so much fun. So the other awesome thing is at the end of this presentation, there is a really great coupon from Vitamart.ca. Because I will talk about some products that I use personally and I really, really like, natural health products, of course. So you'll be able to get that coupon towards the end. So let's just talk about some of, excuse me, let me just have some water here. Let's just talk about some of the causes of low energy. So low energy is actually a pretty complex issue. There are, fortunately, a lot of really great natural solutions, but what you want to do first is be aware that there can be issues in the way of helping you have great energy that you want to rule out. So as a nutritionist, I see lots of clients and I meet lots of people, and oftentimes there could be disease or infection, there could be hypothyroidism going on, there can be nutritional deficiencies. Even something as simple as low iron or low B12, because these nutrients are lacking in someone's diet, those nutrients are low iron is the most common nutritional deficiency in the world, and having low iron or low B12 can really impact your energy. And the other thing is if you have poor digestive health, no matter how well you eat, if you're making a big, beautiful raw salad every day and you're eating good sources of protein and fat and you're doing everything right to eat really well, if you don't have good digestion because of years of stress or years of just eating a poor diet, you may not be actually properly absorbing the nutrients to create energy at a cellular level. So that's why one of the first things I'm going to talk about today is improving your gut health by, making sure that you feed the good bacteria in your gut. And this is a topic I'm really, really passionate about because I think pretty much everyone knows, you're all very smart people, you know that you need to eat well to have good energy. If you're eating a poor diet, you're going to feel poor, essentially. You're going to feel low energy, just lifeless. It's going to be reflected on your skin and your hair. And when you eat nourishing foods and you have good digestion, then this really will help to improve your energy. And of course, there are also great supplements to help boost your energy too. But this little diagram here really explains how low energy isn't there's not one simple answer, and there's not one simple cause of low energy. So what solutions do you guys turn to? Type in the chat window. Tell me. Let me know. What are the kinds of things that you do for low energy? I know my clients, people that I talk to, generally turn to things like coffee to help boost energy, sugar. Oh, you guys are also healthy. Sleep and water. I love it. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Good. Eat clean. Oh, eyelids great. Take their greens plus extra energy. Good. Bee pollen, yeah, that's a great one. Supplements, light therapy, great idea, Amanda. Go to bed earlier. I like that I'm seeing lots of lifestyle factors in here too. So basically, I know I'm preaching to the choir now. You guys are totally going to get this. But the average person, or maybe your spouse or your kids, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your friends, typically turn to caffeine. And that's because caffeine is a stimulant. It makes us feel good, but it's always temporary. So yes, it does relieve fatigue, but the problem is that overuse of caffeinated beverages like coffee and pop really do promote mineral depletions, can impair insulin's action. So basically, caffeinated beverages can cause blood sugar imbalance. Like a very common thing that I see with people is that they have their coffee in the morning and then they feel like they really need something, 2:30, 3, 4 o'clock. They feel like their energy is crashing and they need a boost of energy. And usually that's because blood sugar is starting to dip. And when blood sugar dips, your body naturally craves more caffeine or more sugar to give you that quick boost of energy. And the other problem with caffeine is that it increases something called your catecholamines, and these are basically stress hormones. So caffeine promotes a surge of stress hormones, and that's why you feel so alert. Some people may even feel like jittery, your heart is beating faster, you can type really fast. Some people find that coffee makes them feel more creative, and that's why. It's because it is a stimulant, but the problem is that the effect is actually very short-lived. And the other common solution that people turn to is refined carbs. So, cookies and muffins, even things like energy bars that you might not realize are actually full of sugar, cereals, these types of things. It's actually really common when I look at people's food journals. Oftentimes I see that they feel like they have to always eat cereal before they go to bed. And that really causes sort of these blood sugar fluctuations. Having cereal right before bed spikes your blood sugar again. So really you get into the cycle of yo-yoing blood sugar all day. So sugar is the same thing as caffeine really, is in that it gives you a quick boost, but it's always followed by a low. So this little diagram here shows you sort of the perpetual cycle, or I almost like to say the vicious cycle of sugar. I used to be a sugar addict. You may know this about me already if you've heard me speak before. When I was throughout my 20s, I was totally addicted to sugar. And I honestly just thought, through my teens and my 20s, I honestly just thought that was just who I am. I'm just someone who always has to eat sugar. And I fell into this cycle. So you eat it, you like it, you feel good. Sugar is addictive because it causes neurotransmitters to release in your brain like dopamine. So this is why sugar becomes so addictive. It is addictive because it stimulates these neurotransmitters that actually make you feel good. So that's where you see number 2 on this little cycle here. And then number 3, what happens when you eat sugary foods, then your blood sugar falls too rapidly because insulin secretes, a lot of insulin secretes, and it drops that blood sugar low. And high insulin, by the way, insulin is a fat storage hormone. And insulin you always want to keep in check because it's also a very inflammatory hormone, and we want to keep inflammation at bay because inflammation leads to disease, leads to cancer, leads to heart disease, many, many problems. So your blood sugar levels fall too rapidly from this oversecretion of insulin. This is a perpetual cycle that so many people fall into. So then when it's down low, that's when you may feel moody and tired and irritable. I see this a lot with kids as well. When they eat sugar, they fall into this like yo-yoing blood sugar all day. So then you crave it again because the body is smart. It's going to crave what it needs to feel good. Then again, you fall into this and you're just in this vicious circle going around and around and around. So breaking this cycle is absolutely it is actually easy to do. Even though it feels like when you're in it, it feels like you're never going to get out of it, but I promise you can. And the tips that I'm going to share with you today are definitely going to help. Monica says she always craves sugar when she wakes up from a nap. That could be because, again, your blood sugar has dropped. So you want to make sure that, if you take a nap, Monica, mid-afternoon, you want to make sure that what you eat at lunch is really blood sugar balancing. So you want to make sure that meal has protein and complex carbs and really good sources of quality fat to really balance your blood sugar. So that when you take a nap, your blood sugar metabolism stays really stable. The other problem with sugar is that it really is at a cost to the body because you need B vitamins. B vitamins are used up when you consume sugars, and B vitamins are needed for energy. And the other problem with sugar, it feeds bad bacteria and yeast in the gut. So this is often why carbs, starchy carbs, make us feel bloated and constipated. And as well, whenever I meet people or see clients who tell me that they have a poor immune system, when I look at their diet, often I see that they're eating far too many refined carbs and processed foods. And so they're getting sick all the time because the sugar is just feeding infection. And the other problem is that eating sugary foods lowers your white blood cells' ability to recognize and fight infection. So basically, sugar puts you in a bad mood. Even though it may seem like it makes you really happy at first, again, it's at a cost to the body. So this is what most people turn to. They turn to caffeine, they turn to sugar, and they don't address the root cause of low energy. And then they aggravate the causes of low energy as well. So what ends up happening, like this woman here, is that you end up feeling totally burnt out. So you end up resorting to these foods like sugar. So, sugars and coffee and pop, you end up resorting to these. And these foods really aggravate your body further. They cause more vitamin and mineral depletions. They lower your energy. They really beat up on your adrenal function. You may have heard of adrenal burnout before. Whenever I see people with adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue, they are always addicted to sugars and to coffee as well. So just something to keep in mind. So today I'm going to share with you foods and nutrients to support your energy and your mood because they're one and the same. And also, within that, I'm going to talk about the importance of gut health, vitamin D. I put that in there because it is the middle of winter. I know, actually, I think I saw someone's on here there's someone on the webinar from Mexico. I'm so jealous. It must be sunny and beautiful there. Mind you, it's not a bad day today, but it is really cold. But vitamin D, especially in North America, especially in Canada, I should say, is something that we need more of for energy and for mood especially. And making sure we have good protein intake, make sure we eat foods rich in phytonutrients, and of course, as a holistic nutritionist, it is truly a holistic approach to great health. This is why I always talk about lifestyle habits, because it's not just what you eat, it's also about how you live your life and making time for a healthy lifestyle. So this is why when I asked you guys what you do, what you guys are doing to help boost your energy, I was really happy to see that a lot of you wrote there that you go for a walk or you get outside to boost your energy. It really does work. And then at the very end of the presentation, I'm going to give you my 12 energy boosting quick tips. So just really fast, some things for you to remember. Don't worry, you can go back and rewatch. You can rewatch this webinar so that if you want to take some notes or you want to take a picture of some different ideas. And then as well, just a reminder, make sure you stay to the end of the presentation because there's a great coupon as well. So let's talk about these foods and nutrients to stay energized and stay nourished and feel joyous all throughout the winter, no matter where you live. So let's first talk about gut health. As I mentioned in the very beginning of this webinar, it's great to eat well, but you want to make sure that you have good digestion so that the food you eat actually gets to where it needs to go. So this is why I love talking about bacteria. There's over 100 trillion bacteria that live on you and in you. Most of them live in your colon, so your large intestine is the dirtiest place on planet Earth, and the number of bacteria in your gut exceeds the total number of cells in your body by a factor of 10, which is very fascinating. And bacteria influence absolutely, pretty much everything. Bacteria influence our mood, so our gut health influences our mood. So you really want the good bacteria to reign supreme. And the problem is that most people aren't feeding the good bacteria. They're eating sugars, they're eating a poor diet, and they're helping that bad bacteria and that yeast and that fungi really thrive. And that affects your mood, it affects your ability to lose weight, it affects your energy, it affects absolutely everything, your skin health, your hair health, so basically your beauty, and really your beauty, your skin health and your hair health and your nails is really just a reflection of what's going on the inside. So good bacteria plays a role in your digestion, your elimination, your immune system. This is the one that people most commonly hear about when you see those yogurt commercials and you hear that, good bacteria is linked to a healthy immune system. It is absolutely true. Good bacteria helps to protect the lining of your intestines, so less foreign stuff so less of that can get through and make you sick. So your mental health, as I'll talk about momentarily, and so on. So the bacteria in your gut impact your mood. So lactobacillus and bifidobacterium are actually known to produce GABA. It's pretty fascinating stuff that your gut actually produces masses of neurotransmitters. For years and years, scientists thought that neurotransmitters were only up here in your brain, but now we know that your stomach is your second brain, your gut is your second brain, and it influences your mood. So GABA is a neurotransmitter that helps you basically chill out. It helps to regulate pain. It helps people sleep better, because if you're too riled up at night, you can't get a good sleep. That's why some people end up taking GABA. But I recommend addressing the gut health, supporting the gut health, feeding the good bacteria so that your good bacteria helps to make those neurotransmitters that help to chill you out. And other bacteria produce dopamine. Other bacteria produce acetylcholine. So again, these are neurotransmitters. Dopamine helps you feel happy. It's part of your reward system. As I mentioned earlier, sugar promotes the secretion of dopamine. So that's why it becomes so addictive. But you want to do other things that help to support the release of dopamine, like feeding your gut bacteria. Acetylcholine really helps keep your brain sharp. Improves your memory, your mental alertness. So these are all neurotransmitters you need in abundance, and you need to support with the raw materials, essentially, to help make these neurotransmitters. So the other thing is that good bacteria actually helps to make some vitamins and helps with the absorption of some minerals in your gut. So even B12 and vitamin K2, which is important for bone health, B12 being important for nervous system function. your gut health and your gut bacteria actually help to make these in your small intestine. So it's pretty fascinating how important your gut is to your overall health and well-being. So what can you do? You can eat fermented foods because they nourish and they provide the food for the good bacteria. And also, of course, I always talk about fermented foods because they are one of my favorite superfoods. I often talk about them in webinars, but also just eating fiber-rich foods because fiber helps to feed the good bacteria, and also fermented foods are often the source of fiber as well. So the other thing is they help to increase the good bacteria and they help to lower the bad bacteria because they help increase the good bacteria, which outnumbers the bad bacteria. So I have on my website, joyhealth.com, I have a video that I did, so a whole entire blog post and a video about some of my favorite fermented foods. And I recommend that you eat a fermented food every single day. And as you know already, this is my favorite protein powder that I always put into my smoothie because it's the first fully fermented protein powder. It tastes good. It doesn't make you bloated. When a food is fermented, the nutrients are essentially unlocked, and then you can actually absorb them properly. So while there are a lot of plant-based proteins on the market, you're really, in a way, it's a bit of a waste of money if it's not with the fermentation process. If it's not fermented, you may not actually be gaining access to those incredible nutrients. So you get more nutrition bang for your buck when you use a fermented protein because those nutrients are actually available. Think of a fermented food almost like a pre-digested food. So these are just like some photos that I pulled off my Instagram feed because I personally eat fermented foods every day, and I think some of the easiest ways to get a fermented food, some of the easiest ways to get it into your diet is actually just putting it into a smoothie. So this smoothie on the right here, that's a green smoothie. Now some people are like, oh, smoothies boring. And smoothies I don't want to do in the middle of the winter. That's why if you're going to do a smoothie, put some warming ingredients into it. I'm not suggesting you make a freezing cold smoothie when it's like a -10 outside. But the one on the right has ginger in it. Ginger is very warming. It's also very anti-inflammatory, and it has the fermented protein. And the one on the left, that was my husband Walker. That was his smoothie, and his was like super energizing, but he used raw cacao. He also used protein powder, so it was also fermented. So someone was asking over here that they're asking, okay, someone answered what kimchi was. Thank you for doing that. So this is another recipe on Joyous Health, and this is my sweet potato protein muffins. And again, this is where you can get more creative when you're using a fermented protein powder. You just toss it in your muffin recipe, and pow, you have it's more digestive friendly. You've boosted the protein, which is good for balancing your blood sugar. Okay, so vitamin D is also really important. So when talking about staying nourished through the winter and energized and keeping your mood really stable, this is important, especially for Canadians, or no matter where you live in the world, because if you're not getting outside enough, you're not getting exposure to sunlight. And vitamin D is our sunshine vitamin. And so when the sun hits their skin, essentially, it converts cholesterol in their skin to vitamin D, and vitamin D keeps us happy. It keeps our immune system strong. But in countries where our days we don't get outside because it's freezing cold, many of us are deficient. Some experts say that up to 70% of Canadians are actually low in vitamin D. And vitamin D isn't actually a vitamin. It's named incorrectly, and it's never been changed. It actually acts as a hormone in the body. So you probably already know that vitamin D is really important for the absorption of calcium, so for bone health. So it's important for the absorption of calcium in the digestive tract to ensure the body has adequate reserves to build bone tissue. There's also receptors for vitamin D all throughout the entire nervous system. And there's still a lot that we actually don't know. So it's really fascinating to think that there's receptors all throughout the nervous system for vitamin D, but we don't know exactly all of those actions. But we do know that vitamin D actually helps to regulate the activity of these mood-boosting neurotransmitters, so like serotonin and dopamine. Melatonin is also very important because it's a hormone that helps us get into a deep sleep. Melatonin is great for keeping inflammation at bay and insulin in check. So vitamin D helps to regulate all of these neurotransmitters. And some studies have even linked deficiency of the sunshine vitamin to seasonal affective disorder and depression. And, of course, immune system. So immune system health, this is another one that you've likely already heard of, but having adequate stores increases your germ-fighting action of some types of immune cells, and it's also really key for the prevention of disease, heart disease and cancer. Now, I'm not saying that vitamin D is your cure-all. I always like to, almost have like a disclaimer, because I think sometimes we gravitate to like one nutrient. We hear like one nutrient's amazing, and then we're just like popping vitamin D like crazy. I don't want you to do that, because I want you to focus first on whole foods and not like these single nutrients. But I just want to educate you on the importance of these nutrients. But the challenge with vitamin D is not abundant in food. This is why I do recommend, as a nutritionist, supplementation, even for babies. So I have a 5-month-old, and since she was born, she gets 400 IUs of vitamin D every single day. So it's universally recommended. But one of the challenges is, though, that research shows that the benefits are more pronounced when daily doses are taken as opposed to one large dose taken per week. And I know that a lot of people do this. I know a lot of people, because when I talk to my clients or I meet people at public seminars, and they're like, yeah, I take my supplements like from, I start on Monday, Tuesday, and then I kind of fall off the wagon, and then I take them all on the weekend again, and they're kind of like yo-yoing. You want to be consistent. And, of course, pretty obvious, you guys probably already know this, you want to make sure that you're buying the D3 form because it's shown to be much more active in the body than the plant-based form D2. And to be honest with you, most supplements are usually always going to have the D3 form. Okay, so protein, not just for building big muscles and having biceps. Protein is really important for many things like balanced blood sugar, which is going to help you have a good mood. Protein is important for brain health and mental well-being. So many factors. So great for your metabolic rate to make sure you have protein at every meal and snack. So let's get into this a bit more. So proteins are essentially, they're like the building blocks of life, because they are truly the building blocks of every single cell in your entire body. And just to give you an example here, an amino acid called tryptophan is actually a precursor to mood-boosting neurotransmitter serotonin. Tyrosine may boost levels of dopamine and norepinephrine, which help with alertness and concentration. And where are you getting these? You are getting these amino acids from the food that you eat, if you have good digestion. So as I mentioned already, protein helps to stabilize blood sugar. It helps to make you feel satisfied, because protein takes longer to digest than carbohydrates. So it helps to ward off those carb cravings that a lot of people get this time of year. It's actually very, very common. If you suffer from winter blues or you suffer from seasonal affective disorder, it's actually really, really common to have carb cravings. So just be aware of that. So protein is your best friend. And I think this is, especially with women, I feel like this is an area that we're often missing in our diet. So making sure that whether you're vegan or whether you're paleo or whether you just like healthy, whole, nutritious food, you want to make sure at every meal and snack you're including some sort of protein source. So I've listed out a bunch here. Just keep in mind things like nuts and seeds, although they are a source of protein, they're also a really great source of fat. So I think it's great to eat nuts and seeds, but you don't want that to be the main protein in your meal every single time that you eat. You want to get proteins from other sources like eggs, fish, chicken, turkey. If you're a vegan, then, of course, eating a variety of different plant-based proteins is important, like quinoa, beans, lentils. Of course, using a good quality protein powder is key as well. And foods that are particularly good sources of tryptophan are things like mushrooms, cremini mushrooms. By the way, I just made an amazing mushroom soup last week, and it was like 2 cups of cremini mushrooms, and then I used 3 little bags of dried, that I rehydrated wild mushrooms. So mood boosting and so warming, so great for this time of year. So these are all different foods here that really help with serotonin. And, of course, complex carbs. Your brain is a sugar hog. Your brain thrives on, it's Glucose, which you get from carbs when broken down in the gut, it is the primary fuel source for the brain. But here's the thing, your brain much prefers glucose from fiber-rich sources like vegetables and also fruits, of course, too, because they provide a slow release of glucose and they keep your energy levels really stable, and they also keep your mood really stable. If you are someone who feels like moody and irritable often, you want to look to your diet, like how much caffeine are you consuming and how many sugary foods are you consuming? And cutting those two things out can make a huge difference in your mood and in your energy. So the other thing is, if you guys attended my webinar, 12 Habits for Joy's New Year, this was something that I talked about. Eating colorful foods. It really is, things that we learned in kindergarten still apply today when we're adults. And so filling your plate with color, when you see colorful foods, color really does indicate nutrients because these color pigments the color pigments in plants actually serve a healing purpose to your body. And there's over 20,000 different plant nutrients, and many of them we don't even have names for. These are called phytonutrients. And these nutrients really do help us. So they help plants. They help plants with their immune system. So they help plants combat things like bacteria and insects and help plants be healthy. But what's so awesome is they also help us be healthy. So some of these 20,000 plant nutrients act as antioxidants. They can reduce inflammation. They can boost our immune system. They can prevent premature aging of the skin. And they can really help to increase our energy. So let's look at a couple of examples of foods you're probably eating right now. So sweet potatoes are orange from carotenoids, and these are very anti-inflammatory and cancer preventative. And as a side note, they're total beauty foods because they're great for your skin. Blueberries are rich, they're blue obviously, and they're rich in color pigments called anthocyanins, and these act as antioxidants in the body that protect our cells from free radical damage. This is why you often hear blueberries are very, very beneficial for brain health. Stress creates a lot of oxidation, a lot of oxidative damage in our body. This is why when we go through super stressful periods, we often find that our short-term memory is not as good. So eating foods like blueberries and eating colorful foods in general really help to mop up those free radicals and protect us at a cellular level. So it's really, really important to make sure you fill your plate with color, fill your grocery cart with color, and then eat that food. Super important. And the reason I say eat that food is because how often do we let food go to waste, rot basically in our fridge? Do you know that the average person wastes 40% of their groceries every single week, and then we complain that food is so expensive? It's just crazy when you think about it. So if you actually ate everything you bought, you probably wouldn't be concerned about how much food costs because you wouldn't be having waste. This is why, just a side note here, as a nutritionist, I always recommend shopping based on a list, based on a meal plan, based on what you plan to make for the week. So when you make your list on Sunday and you go grocery shopping, actually plan out either in your mind or, you can write it down, plan out the meals that you plan to have for that week, and then you will actually utilize the food that you've purchased. So just a little tip for you there. So, of course, I absolutely love Greens Plus. As you know, I take Greens Plus myself every single day, and when Vienna is old enough, I can't wait to give her the Greens Plus kids. No, she will not be having Kool-Aid, and no, she will not be having juice, water, or Greens Plus kids. But Greens Plus truly is very energizing. And Greens Plus, they have, I know some of you take it here, you mentioned on the side, there's Greens Plus Extra Energy. But Greens Plus, the base product of Greens Plus, is actually proven in research. It's clinically proven to increase your energy and vitality. So what Genuine Health has done is they have made a formulation and they've put in more energy-boosting nutrients like vitamins and specific minerals and amino acids and plants and herbs that help to give you really good, sustainable energy on top of this already fantastic base of Greens Plus, which is already proven to increase your energy. So here are some of the extra energy ingredients, and don't worry, at the end of the webinar, you're going to get a coupon code that you can actually get the extra energy Greens Plus and try it out. So these are some of the ingredients that I want to highlight. So in Greens Plus extra energy, there's something called Colou nut seed extract. And this provides a natural caffeine meaning clean energy, sustained energy. It's really rich in polyphenols that support the nervous system. Unlike coffee does not support the nervous system. It gives you that boost of energy, but it doesn't support the nervous system. Taurine is an amino acid that is really great for physical and mental energy, but it doesn't have that overstimulating effect. Glycine, so this is a nutrient an amino acid that is really helping to address the root cause of low energy for many people, which can be to help to regulate blood sugar, because those fluctuating blood sugar levels, as I talked about earlier, are often a cause of low energy. And Gotu Kola is used traditionally in herbal medicine to help with mental fatigue as well. So if you are someone who finds like you're just go all day, and then by the time 4 o'clock comes, you can't answer any emails, you can't bear the thought of talking to another customer or client or whoever on the phone or your boss. And suma root, which is otherwise known as Brazilian ginseng, is used traditionally as an adaptogen for anxiety and fatigue and stress. Anxiety is often the result of, months and months of just having really poor energy, eating a poor diet, becoming very nutritionally deficient. Then you can often end up with things like anxiety and depression. Of course, vitamin B6, rhodiola, and astragalus are fantastic herbs because they help the body adapt to stress. Vitamin C helps to make cortisol. So your adrenal glands pump out cortisol to help you deal with stress. So even though we often talk about stress as being a horrible, bad thing, it's chronic stress that's a bad thing. It's okay to have acute stress. Acute stress helps you get through things. So get through a presentation or get through an important meeting or something that you're working on. So vitamin C really helps your body keep up with that. And of course, it's an antioxidant. And chromium, again, this is where the Greens Plus Extra Energy is helping to address the root causes of low energy, because chromium is a mineral that's very important for blood sugar balance. So here's some of the research. There's research done right here in Toronto at the University of Toronto on energy and vitality. So they did a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial involving over 100 human subjects, investigating the effects of what would happen to these people after using Greens Plus for over 3 months. So for those of you who don't know, this is like the gold standard of studies. This is the kind of study you want to see. If you see good results, then a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled is the gold standard. So the results were published, and they found that Greens Plus increased energy and vitality, and that they also found, which was, they didn't know this was going to happen, but they also found that people's mental health was improved, their just overall well-being, their overall health was improved when they used Greens Plus. So it's pretty amazing stuff. So there's also Greens Plus Kids, which is different than the Greens Plus Extra Energy, because obviously it doesn't have any herbs. You don't need to be giving your kids all those extra herbs. They've probably got enough energy already. But it's 25 organic fruits and veggies from the whole rainbow. So the reason, I talk a lot about eating colorful foods, even though Greens Plus, called Greens Plus, it has a whole rainbow of a variety of phytonutrients. Like Greens Plus is very, very high in phytonutrients for greens powder, the best. So let's talk a little bit about lifestyle now. I'm just going to have a sip of water. Because as I mentioned, as a holistic nutritionist, I do recommend lifestyle factors in addition to eating well. So my first recommendation is to get social. So I love this quote by Tom Ford. The most important things in life are the connections you make with others. So when it's getting cold outside, I keep looking outside and I see people walking down the street all bundled up. I'm really happy to see that people are outside. But when the weather gets colder, the urge to stay inside often wins out over our desire to socialize. It's pretty much what happens. But this is really the exact opposite of what we need to do to stay in a good mood. and to stay energized throughout the winter, because we really need to brave the cold or brave the rain or the snow or whatever the nasty weather is. If you're having nasty weather, still get out and be social, because social isolation makes feelings of depression worse, because it really amplifies stress in the brain. And feelings of social connectedness really help to alleviate a poor mood, even help with things like depression. I work with a psychotherapist, and that's one of the things that she recommends to her patients. She does actually a lot of blog posts for Joyous Health, and she talks a lot about this, the importance of, if you suffer from anxiety or depression or just a low mood, the importance of, connecting with others. And it does increase our lifespan. There's a lot of research to show that we live longer, happier lives when we connect with others, reduces our level of stress, reduces the risk of diseases, improves blood sugar regulation even, pretty amazing stuff. So helps to being connected and having a strong social network actually helps us to have less sugar cravings. Interesting, isn't it? And of course, boosts the immune system too. So my other point is to make sure that you walk every single day, because our ancient biology is just not set up to thrive by sitting all the time. I feel like I should be standing right now as I'm talking about this. But I want you to move your body every single day. Someone mentioned here that you've cleaned your house. Yes, cleaning your house, that's a form of exercise. So moving your body every single day is really important because it increases your lifespan. It stimulates circulation. Walking helps you have good bowel movement because when you stimulate circulation, you're helping to stimulate good digestion. And when you're walking, you feel better. I think walking is the best exercise you can possibly do. And so mood boosting, especially if you do it outside or do it with a friend. Pretty much everyone I talk to, I always recommend get outside and go for a walk. And of course, the importance of self-care. And this is something else that I talked about in my other webinar, 12 Habits for a Joyous New Year. And in order to be joyous and to have a good mood and to feel energized, we really need to make ourselves a priority. And I really find people who have health issues, when they come to health problems, when they reach out and email me, often they're just not making themselves a priority. They're not taking good care of themselves. And so I ask you, when was the last time you took care of you? Putting me time on the back burner is a really big part of why we feel run down, frenzied, just completely overwhelmed. So taking time out each day for self-care is not selfish at all. It is absolutely essential if we want to feel energized, if we want to be happy, if we want to be in a good mood. It's really important to take that time. It boosts your immune system, increases positive thinking, makes you less susceptible to stress, depression, anxiety, and other emotional health issues. So really be good to yourself. So these are some ways to get more self-care into your life. Good nutrition, eating well is all part of self-care. Taking your Breathe Plus extra energy, or making a great smoothie, buying colorful foods, going for a walk, calling a friend and saying, hey, let's go for a walk and let's meet for tea. These are all ways of taking better care of you. So I just want to give you some really quick energy boosting, super quick tips. I'm not going to say them really fast. I'll go through them slowly. But these are some of the summary of some of the stuff I talked about, and then I just wanted to add in a few extras, and then I'll get to your questions. So as I just talked about, a brisk walk outside. I think often in the evenings, people, after they have their dinner and they start then just eating out of boredom, they're just eating. I think that's a really good time to go for a walk is after dinner. Here's another tip. Avoid watching TV for 48 hours. Ditch booze for 4 weeks. No alcohol, 4 weeks. You'll be amazed at how much your energy increases. Cut out all the white foods, so the white rice, the white pasta, the white bread. Not cauliflower, though. Cauliflower is white, but it's very, very good for you. Take a 15-minute cat nap if it's available to you. I would really like to take a cat nap. Not right now, but cat naps are hard depending on where you're at in your life. When you have little ones, maybe you're not going to get a 15-minute cat nap. And you know what? you can get a 5-minute cat nap. Just lock yourself in the bathroom and don't tell anyone where you are for 5 minutes. And, of course, switching from coffee to herbal tea or switching from coffee to Greens Plus Extra Energy. Prioritize and make a list. When you feel frenzied and overwhelmed, write down the things that you want to accomplish for the week. Don't make the list too long, but make a list, and it feels so good. I'm a list writer. I love lists, grocery lists especially. Keeps me on track because I really like grocery shopping, and I tend to go off track, not buying bad foods, but I just go off track looking at everything. But anyhow, write a grocery list and cross off the things as you get them done. You know, whether it's vacuum the house today, go for a walk, clean the toilet, clean the bathroom, cut out the late night eating. That is a big one to help boost your energy, because when you are sleeping, your body should not be focused on digestion. Your body should be focused on rest and regeneration of your cells. When you're sleeping, the cells of your skin, of your muscles regenerate more than any other time of the day. So when you sleep, you want to make sure that your body is focused on regeneration and not digesting what you just ate right before bed. So making a smoothie, that's a quick tip. Make a great smoothie. This is what I often do mid-afternoon because for me, because I don't get my 9 hours of sleep like I used to anymore. So my sleep is really chopped up, and I really need something to give me good energy. So rather than resorting to eating sugar, which was interesting because when I first had my baby, I found that I was totally, like the first 6 weeks, I was totally craving sugar. It was interesting how my body was just like, oh my gosh, sugar, chocolate, give that to me, because my energy levels were so all over the place. So I made it a priority. I knew it was going on there in my body, so I made it a priority to have a smoothie, to make sure I had all the right ingredients to make a good smoothie. Connecting with others, as we just talked about, and getting enough shut-eye. Sleep. Sleep is so good for your energy and vitality. And, of course, drinking water. I didn't have a whole slide on this, but I will just tell you quickly that making sure you drink enough water really does help to energize you. Even just being slightly dehydrated can mean fatigue, can cause headaches. Like just 1% drop in water in your body can cause low energy. So this is why having a smoothie, putting your Greens Plus Extra Energy in there, is going to be super hydrating, and you're going to feel fantastic. So here is that coupon I was telling you about. So you can go to Vitamart.ca and use coupon 5OFFGH. So you'll get $5 off of Genuine Health Greens Plus items, and it is valid until February 13th. So that is next Saturday, I believe. I think today is the 6th. I think it's valid for 1 week. And you get a free shaker cup and a Genuine Health sample with every order. So very exciting. So if you want to take advantage, do it, because the Greens Plus is fantastic. I love it myself, as I mentioned. My husband, he loves the Greens Plus Extra Energy because he likes the cappuccino flavor. So yeah, there you go. So don't worry, by the way, you'll be able to go back and watch this seminar again, and you'll be able to get that coupon, so 5OFFGH. So as I mentioned, there is many ways to connect with me. Also connect with Genuine Health. They're also on all these social channels too. And now I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to answer your questions. So, wow, I made it. I talked fast because I wanted to make sure that I got through everything, and I managed to do that. So I'm going to answer some of your questions now. So Linda, is Greens Plus, and the fermented protein okay during pregnancy? So Greens Plus, so personally, I use the Greens Plus Kids when I was pregnant because it doesn't have any of the herbs. So it is not recommended during pregnancy, so just do the Kids one. And the fermented protein, it's really up to you. Most protein powders will say do not use while pregnant or breastfeeding, but for me personally, I reviewed all the ingredients and I felt comfortable taking it. So I used it. I still use it, and I use it while pregnant as well. Sorry, I'm getting over a bit of a cold here. My nose keeps running. Okay, so how much fermented food do you recommend per day? I recommend at least once per day you eat something fermented. So whether, you use the genuine health protein powder in your smoothie, or you make those muffins, or you have some kimchi or sauerkraut with your eggs, then that's, at least, I would say at least once per day. Okay, so more questions are going in. Sorry if I'm answering them out of order here. I'll just kind of scroll up and see. When is the best time to drink extra Greens Plus Extra Energy? That depends on you. Drinking it, first thing in the morning is what a lot of people like to do, because they really like to boost their energy for the day and have good energy all day long, and you will notice a difference. So, funny story. I gave my mom some Greens Plus Extra Energy, and I specifically said don't have it later in the day, and she did have it later in the day. I don't know if my mom is on here right now watching. Sorry, Mom. But she sends me a text next day. Oh my goodness, that stuff really works. I was up till 2 in the morning. I was so late. So with anything that is, gives you a good stimulation, don't do it like at night before bed, not the time, because it really does, take it seriously. It really does give you a good boost, clean energy, so not to worry you're not going to crash. So 2 times a day that I think are good, either first thing in the morning, or if you're someone who suffers from that sort of mid-afternoon crash and you don't feel great at 3 p.m., you feel tired, then having your Greens Plus Extra Energy then is a really great time. Someone asked how many portions of Greens Plus can you have per day? You could have up to 2, but I would start out slow. If you've never had a green superfood before, I would start out with half a scoop and then slowly increase from there. And you could have it just in water if you want. You don't have to make a smoothie. It's easy. I have some clients who keep their greens powders at work, and they just add it to water, and they have that sort of mid-afternoon to feel good. So someone asked, what's a good alternative to coffee in the morning? Have a smoothie with Greens Plus Extra Energy. That'll give you that good boost of energy. Can you take Greens Plus Extra Energy when breastfeeding? No, I don't recommend it. Just like I don't recommend any stimulant. I don't recommend coffee when you're breastfeeding, because what you take in will go to baby, and you don't want your baby to be, partying and raving till 5 in the morning because they're overstimulated. Patty said how much shut-eye is enough. Well, that depends on you. Some people really thrive on 7.25 hours, and some people really thrive on 9 hours. So you have to find the sweet spot. I always say it's somewhere between 7 and 9 is the ideal amount of time. So if you find that sweet spot based on you wake up in the morning and you feel energized, because sometimes too much sleep can actually make you feel more tired and groggy, make some people have headaches. And also in the wintertime, we tend to sleep longer. So actually, because there's less sunlight in the day, and we should really actually follow the rhythms of the earth and what's happening, whether it's winter or summer. You guys must find you're naturally more energized in the summer when we have light longer in the day. So I know myself, I definitely sleep less in the summer, and I need more sleep in the winter. So Rosie said, what are the best ingredients for a smoothie? So Rosie, head on over to joyoushealth.com. I have tons of smoothie recipes. Also on my Instagram page @joyoushealth, I post a smoothie almost every other day. I actually just had a smoothie this morning. I didn't post a picture of it because sometimes my smoothies don't look very pretty. This morning was very not the prettiest green, but it was really good for me. So the best ingredients, there's tons of ingredients I could tell you to put in your smoothie, but I always recommend you make sure you have a good protein in there, have some sort of green superfood like Greens Plus Extra Energy, or and put in some fresh fruits, some fresh vegetables, colorful foods. Okay, I'm just going to scroll through this question. Patty also asked, what about running? I find it gives me a high better than a walk. Great, yeah, run. That's awesome too. The only reason I say walking is because that's what everybody can do. Not everyone, everyone can run if they train for it, right? But it's something that everyone can do starting right now is walking. Walk home from work, exactly. 10,000 steps, yes. Everyone's got like those Fitbits now. I don't have one. I'm kind of like curious. I had a bunch of my friends over for dinner last night, and two of them had the Fitbit, and they're like, Joy, this is the coolest thing because I can see how well I'm sleeping. That's what I'm super curious about, although there's probably no point in doing it now. It might just depress me. You get no sleep. That's what my Fitbit will tell me. Okay, let's see your other. Yes, family connections. Joanne says really boost your mood. That's great. I'm just scrolling back up. Oh, bee pollen. Yeah, I love bee pollen. Bee pollen is fantastic. It is also very energizing. That's in the regular Greens Plus, not the vegan one. Kim gives Greens Plus Kids to her youngest. It helps, yes. Greens Plus Kids is good to, I prefer Greens Plus Kids actually just over giving a multivitamin to little ones because, you know, sometimes getting your kids to like chew on a multivitamin is not the easiest. So getting them to like drink something that looks like Kool-Aid is really good. Oops, hang on, sorry, I'm just scrolling up here. If I missed your question, you know what? I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom to see the most recent ones. Watergrass juice? Watergrass juice. I don't know what watergrass juice, maybe wheatgrass? Is that what you're asking about? Is the Greens Plus a powder? You can't get Greens Plus. You can get Greens Plus as a powder. You can get just the extra energy as a tablet, as a capsule. But to my knowledge, and the genuine, fine people at Genuine Health will have to correct me, but I'm pretty sure you can't get the Greens Plus extra energy as a capsule. You can get Greens Plus and you can get extra energy separately. Okay. Oh, apple cider vinegar. Yes. Apple cider vinegar I didn't mention as being a good fermented food. That's a great thing to put into water in the morning. Yes, that does count as having a fermented food every day, having apple cider vinegar in water. Or even I like to do it just as a shot. Like I know some people might be totally grossed out by that, but like just putting apple cider vinegar on a spoon and then shooting that back is really good for digestion. And it helps to feed it's a fermented food, so it helps to feed the good bacteria. It really helps to strengthen your digestive fire, so it helps move food through more effectively. So when I do this motion, I mean it helps you have a good bowel movement. And it's also good for bloating, if anyone ever, feels bloated. But if you're using Genuine Health fermented protein powder in your smoothie, you're probably not feeling bloated. How does one beat coffee addiction? What are some good alternatives to coffee? Okay, so you can beat coffee addiction, and coffee is very addictive because you're addicted to the caffeine. Coffee smells good, it tastes good, it is delicious, but I recommend, Lindsay, that you actually try the Greens Plus Extra Energy, the cappuccino flavor, because that will help you beat your coffee addiction. Also, in my book, Joyous Health, I don't know if you have my book, Lindsay, but in my book, in the first chapter, I have a whole, I think it might be actually on page 8, if I'm correct. On page 8, I have a whole coffee detox. So I tell you exactly how to detox from coffee. And so Greens Plus Extra Energy is a good alternative. If you want something that has a sort of coffee flavor, Dandy Blend is also good. So Dandy Blend is a herbal, you get it from the health food store, and it's a herbal substitute for coffee. So it's like dandelion and chicory and barley, although it is gluten-free, and it's like instant coffee. So you just put the powder. But this is not like to give you super energy like Greens Plus. This is just, if you want to have like that hot drink that makes you feel like you're drinking coffee, but it's not like going to give you this like super amazing energy. Yes, Jessie, I have smoothie recipes with Green Plus on my website. If you go to joycehealth.com and you go to where it says taste, and then click on smoothies, and you'll actually find a really good mochaccino recipe. And any recipe you can put Greens Plus. But the Greens Plus Extra Energy Cappuccino is really good in the mochaccino smoothie. And then if you're just doing a regular smoothie, say you're putting like berries and spinach in there and your protein powder and some coconut oil, then putting just a regular Greens Plus is also really nice to give you that good boost of nutrition and all those phytonutrients and, that extra energizing power. Okay, so someone said thoughts on Phyto Berry supplements. Is that a brand? I don't know. if that's what you mean by that, because Greens Plus is extremely high in phytonutrients. So Greens Plus could be called Greens Plus phytonutrients. So I don't know what phytoberry is. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that supplement. What age can children start taking Greens Plus? Well, for me personally, I mean, that's really a personal decision for you. But, for me personally, as soon as Vienna is like around a year and a half, 2 years, I'm going to start giving her the Greens Plus kids. So that's up to you guys. Okay, I think, let me just see, was there any other, so Ann said, I just purchased the Metagenic Greens. I'm not familiar with their brand. So what I would say with other Greens brands, the reason that I support the Greens Plus brand, why I love it so much, is because I just love that they've really done their research. And the funny thing is that they have such good research. They have such a solid formulation. It's been around for over 20 years, and all of these other green powders end up creating powders that have a very similar formulation. So this is why I love Greens Plus, because it's research proven, and they're so good that everyone else copies exactly what they're doing because it's so awesome in the first place. So I'm sure, Metagenics puts out good products. I'm sure it's a good product. I would just find out, what is the research on it. That would be, oh, I missed this question from Natalie. What is the best time of day to take vitamin D? Best time or meal of day? Often with supplements, I say the best time of day to take it is when you're going to remember to take it. So vitamin D, yes, take it with food, take it with something, take it with a fat, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. So, have it with breakfast. I don't recommend, if you have low vitamin D and say you're taking 5,000 IUs a day, I would break it up. So I do morning and evening. Any brand. There's no brand that I'm particular about when it comes to vitamin D, just making sure it's D3. I don't recommend tablets. I'd recommend either a liquid or a capsule. Oh, thanks. I'm getting some private thank yous. You're very welcome. Does the protein powder taste good alone? Yeah, it totally does. So for a vegan formulation, it does not taste like you are eating soil. It doesn't taste like dirt. It actually tastes really good. So, yes, just putting it in a mason jar with some water and shaking it up. I often like to put it in with some ice. Tastes really, really good. So there's vanilla, there's chocolate, and there's also just the natural flavor. I actually normally use the vanilla one. That's probably my favorite. But when I'm baking, I actually have a really good recipe in my book for chocolate protein bars. So I use the chocolate protein powder. It's really, really good. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the thank yous. You're very welcome. And I'll just take one more question. Let me just see if there was another question I missed. Oh, thank you, Taylor. Taylor posted a link to the Greens Plus Kid. Charlene sent in a question about ginseng. What was your question? I'm not sure. I think I missed it. Ginseng, yes. Ginseng is awesome, energizing. But sorry, the last thing I want to mention is that the amazing thing about the Greens Plus product is that it's a synergistic blend. It's all about the synergy of all of these ingredients in it. They work together synergistically to help boost your energy and your vitality. So oftentimes, people just, they gravitate to one single nutrient, or they just start taking ginseng like nobody's business. But they're missing out on so many other fantastic ingredients that can really help to support the body, address the root causes of low energy, and help them feel great. That's why I love Greens Plus, because it's whole foods in there. You're getting, the rainbow of fruits and vegetables, plus you get all of these specific ingredients that help to boost your energy. So I wish you all amazing energy for this beautiful weekend. Get outside, enjoy being with other people, take your Greens Plus, have a wonderful day. And as I mentioned, just let me go back on the previous slide. You can use this coupon on Vitamart.ca, and you'll be able, I think Vitamart.ca might be hosting this webinar, so you'll be able to watch it again. So I hope you have a joyous weekend. Bye, everybody. Take care. Thank you so much for joining. It was really fun chatting with you all. Bye.